Good morning, everyone. I know this is a different time that we usually get on, but we're gonna kick it through with our new business spotlight for the month of May. Miss Quadisha, how are you this morning?
Hello, Ashley. I'm good. How about yourself?
I'm doing well.
I'm
So
excited.
I'm excited for you, and of course for myself as well because I get to interview such an amazing entrepreneur. Um, so of course we like to start off with you introducing yourself, letting the people get to know you. So if you could just introduce yourself to everyone.
Hey, everybody. I am Quadisha Tideman. I am mature enough to be a grown person. um, I live in Atlanta. I'm from Jersey. Um, I like all the things. I like to have fun. I love fashion. I obviously love real estate. I love great people and good energy.
That's good. I'm you the first one to ever actually talk about like you personally, and I try to tell people just be comfortable, let people know, get to know the you behind the business, because a lot of times people relate more to people like real people instead of
Yeah.
just the professional side. So thank you for
You
that.
know what? I struggle though, honestly, because I'm such a private person, in the sense that I don't really share a whole bunch about me. It's a gift and it's a curse, right? Because we're from a generation where we don't talk about our business to everybody, and then it's like
True.
social media pretty much they share so much about themselves. So I have a hard time balancing like showing my personality and not being super super professional. Like my personality is professional, but I give a little bit of snippets of like my personal life. It's like my little treasure chest, my
Yeah.
personal life. So I try to give little snippets more than I normally used to. And I have to get really good at, especially with social media, because I am horrible on social media.
Well,
You
see,
might get a post every 12 months. And I'm really trying to work on it because I understand, like, in this age, you have to really grow your business
right.
through various mediums, and social media being one of those mediums. I'm like, you know what, Quiet, you got to get a little bit better. People won't know who you are, they don't know what you do. So you have to put a personality to like yourself and your brand. Because I mean, at the end of the day, I'm a pretty dope ass person. So
I know that's right.
people who know me, like you know me, other people know me, they like, oh, Quiet is the shit. But then I'm like, but nobody else knows like those things.
But to be fair, you know what? I'm somewhat that way where it's like I have to feel safe in my environment before you really like get to know my personality.
Mhm.
A lot of times people will look on even social media. I've been told that I look intimidating. I look like I'm very serious, and I'm like far
They
from
don't know you. She fun. She super fun.
right. So go ahead and tell the people a little bit about your business.
So my business, my company is called Luxable Realty Co. It's a it's a subsidiary of Luxable Worldwide, and that's kind of like my brand. It's Luxable Worldwide. Everything is Luxable, from lifestyle to media to real estate. And real estate is what I really focus on a daily basis. Luxable Realty, we provide transaction services for acquisition and dispositions for commercial real estate. And then we also do construction project management as well as development consulting. So if you're doing anything from ground up development, we consult on those opportunities, redevelopment, remodeling of your commercial spaces. And then for investors, we're working with them on that residential aspect of it just because they typically build in bulk. But we are commercial focused, and I love it. I love to build. I love getting my hands dirty. I love figuring out numbers and brokering deals. So I love all of it. But I will say that my passion is the construction, the development, the project management. Brokerage is something that I do as a complement to those services, just because I'm a full service firm in terms of real estate problem solving. So if I have a client that comes to me and they're like, hey, I want to develop a project, and I'm like, okay, so where we are, well, I've never developed before. Okay, well, you know what? We can literally from conception all the way through occupancy help you and manage that whole entire process. So it's acquisition of land if we need to, acquisition of a building, leasing a building, and then building out your space to suit your business needs, or building a building, building apartments, building, multifamily is what we call it,
Mhm.
or anything like that to help whatever bring your vision to life. So that's what we are. We're a boutique full service real estate solutions company.
Oh, that is amazing. That is awesome. Girl, look, let me hurry up and find me another business to get.
Go
No.
ahead, because when Peach Talk blow up, we're gonna get
Look,
this office space together and we're gonna build your studio out. So that's what
look,
we're gonna do.
actually, that why you saying that? That is actually what the whole plan is to get like a building and have because I want to turn it into a media company. So
Okay.
as a whole, but off air,
I
we'll
got you.
we'll,
We
we'll t-
got you. When that time is come, we're gonna look at this business plan and we're gonna make sure it's right for whatever your business growth is. So
I
we're gonna get
know
you
that's
together.
right. So how long have you been doing entrepreneurship?
You know what? I've always had a side business, even when I was in corporate America. So a little bit of background about my why I love real estate. So I got into real estate in 2000. So what's that? 23 years ago. Actually, 23 years ago, May.
Hmm.
July. January 21st. So I was working for a big Fortune 500 company, and I was in the facilities and real estate department. My undergrad is in fashion, so I really just needed a job to finish my to finish my undergrad program. So I started out as a receptionist at this company, and I got all of my experience from there. Like I stayed there for 15 years and got every single ounce of commercial real estate on the corporate side experience that I could, from lease administration, acquisition, disposition of office spaces, office buildings, industrial facilities. We managed a 41 property portfolio globally. That was about 1.6 million rentable square foot that we managed, that my team managed. I oversaw a team of 15 and was responsible for all things facility management. So, not only was it just um, brokering deals with our brokers, but doing office resets or building out offices and manufacturing facilities, but it was also making sure that those businesses run on a daily basis from a facility operations for our end user, who was the employees in each of those locations. And then if it was time to terminate a lease, we were doing dispositions, or if it was time to sell a property that we owned that we no longer wanted in the portfolio, or that didn't serve our portfolio purpose from our real estate goals, it was about disposing of those properties too. So that's where I really got all my experience from. And I loved it. I never thought that I would love it. I was on my way to be the next Anna Wintour in fashion journalism. And I was going to be like the editor in chief of Vogue. And then when I say I like fell super deep in love with it, just because I didn't realize that the project management side was what really called me. So
Mhm.
that's why I say now, like construction project management, development project management, if it is a project, I love it, I'm going to jump on it. And I like to see them from conception all the way through occupancy. It's something about seeing someone's vision and helping them through it, and then seeing it come to fruition. Like that is so fulfilling for me. So literally what I did, we started our family in 2015, and I left work, and from there I went back to school and a master's in real estate. And you know once I did all of that, I was just like, you know what, I really did love my job. Like I didn't realize how much I missed and how much my job was a big part of who I was and who I identified as. So I was like, you know what, let me get my license, let me get my real estate license, let me try some residential. I didn't really fit for residential just because I love houses, I love looking at them. But what I'm really passionate about is commercial. I love buildings. I like to see them erected. I like to make plans. I like to manage projects. I like the deal of acquiring or leasing spaces. And I had a shitload, excuse me, of experience. I had a whole bunch of experience that I learned from the leasing side that I felt like I could bring to the table. So I said, you know what, let me start my business. And so I started my business 3 years ago on LuxableRealty. And literally, I just took everything that I learned and was doing in my job, and I made it a business.
That is awesome. I mean, and sometimes like life does hit you that way to where you'll have an expectation and a plan for your life in one direction, and then the universe and God will be like, no, I think you would like this
Mhm.
better. So, it's that's amazing. And
One of the, I'm sorry to cut you off.
in there.
One of the reasons why I actually started working was because I still wanted I homeschool my daughter, and I really, the pandemic hit really hard, and she's been homeschooled since kindergarten, so she's going to third grade now. So I wanted to be able to have the flexibility to still be at home with my kids.
Mhm.
I have an 8-year-old daughter. Her name is Langston, and I have a 2-year. He's 2 today. A 2-year-old son, Idris. And, I wanted to be able to still manage my time with them, really be there for them. If my mom was, she worked, but she was home with us a lot. And I really loved that. And I really wanted to be able to make sure I gave my children that. So having the flexibility in my time was important to me. And when I was in corporate America, my job was so demanding in that I was flying everywhere. I was gone all the time. I was gone like 6 days out of the week sometimes. So that just wasn't conducive to how we wanted to do raise our family. So the point of entrepreneurship is to be able, for me, it was about making sure that I can control my time, but also being able to curate my work experiences and the clients that I want to work with and the projects that I want to work on. So that was what motivated me to start like Luxable Realty.
Oh, that's awesome. Somebody in the comments says they love your energy, can definitely see and feel the passion you have for what you do. So,
Oh, thank you so much. I am, y'all, I'm telling you, I am so passionate about it. I love what I do. I really do. And I love sharing the knowledge about it because, in our industry, commercial real estate, I'm like a unicorn. We don't really exist, especially as like Black women, Black people in general. We represent a very small percentage of that on a global and a national level, but even locally. And then as a woman in that space, we represent an even smaller percentage of that. So,
right.
you're talking about 1.6% globally for minorities, and then like 0.02% of Black women
Wow.
within that space. So, highly skilled and highly educated, and then highly experienced. Like, I wanted to be able to make sure that I could pave a way for others, because there's some dope African American women who are in commercial real estate who I look up to. And I want to be able to make sure that I can help other agents or anybody else who's entering into the commercial space be able to kind of break those barriers. And it's important because representation does matter. And if you're good at something, and I mean, do it, why not?
We have a question. Do you have experience helping to develop an up and coming sports management company?
Develop the company or develop the building that the company is going to be in, because that's what we focus on. Like, we focus on the real estate aspect of it. The business consulting side, I know people who can help with the business plan and things of that nature. I do touch on it up just a little bit, just because in order for me to really prep and pitch my clients the way that I like to make sure that they have all of their business foundation. We don't even move forward until you have your infrastructure on point, because in order for us to really get ahead and get what we want, you get one time to have a first impression, and I want to make sure that you have that impression. So for me, that's making sure your business plan is tight, making sure you've talked to the right people, making sure your financing is type, if you don't know what that looks like, helping you to find those resources, and then working through and making sure that your business plan is reflective of what your real estate goals are. So from a leasing standpoint, is it smart to lease or is it smart to build? Which one, or buy, which one is best for you? And what your long-term financial goals are and for your business. So we look at those things first before we even talk about let's find a space. Now, if
Mm,
you've done all of that, then we talk about next steps, let's go to steps. But I'll do a consultation, an initial meeting, and then once we secure like brokerage representation, if we're doing acquiring or leasing, then we go to the discovery period. If you're talking about development from construction, then we do a very intensive discovery in our initial meetings. So yeah,
okay, cool. Yeah. So he was saying,
I hope that answered your question.
yeah, I'm sure it did. um, so what made you decide being an entrepreneur was the right choice for you?
I wanted to manage my time. Like, I really wanted to be able to curate my time and my experiences, but more importantly, the projects that I worked on. Like I said, I loved working for a corporate company. I was the client. I dealt with vendors and architects, and I oversaw those people. But I wanted to be able to be a part of projects that meant something to me, and that I had a hand in from, like I said, conception through occupancy. I did that for one company, but if I could take that skill set and help other companies who may not have the wherewithal and they may not have any clue about what to do and how to get that vision off the ground from a construction or development or even just a leasing a space or acquisition of a property. I wanted to be able to help people because what I realized is that especially minorities, we don't have that experience. We don't have a clue where to start. So if I have the experience and the knowledge, I want to be able to make sure that I give back and educate my people and educate, you know, others and other entrepreneurs who are looking to do exactly what I wanted to do, which is to build something and be able to control and essentially create generational wealth for their businesses and their families. So yeah.
That's awesome. He did say, he said, great answer, best answer I've received from any real estate person. Love it.
Oh, well, I'm glad I'm answering the question for you.
Um, so what has been some of the challenges you faced getting your business off the ground?
I'm pretty business savvy, but I will say that my time management and knowing what to dedicate your time to is really important. And then just the resources like um, real estate is a real high risk business, and you have to front load a lot of money from your license, from your insurances, and things of that nature. So, and then for me, it's the education, right? So you can do a lot of things, but I'm a real advocate for education. I don't like to be a part of things that I can't master. And I do master in experience and being hands-on, but I'm a bookworm and I'm a student for life. So knowledge is really powerful for me. And if I can absorb as much knowledge as possible and use that as my leverage, then I couple that with business acumen and experience and just sheer wherewithal, and I feel like that helps me to be stronger, and I'm the actual value add and the value proposition, and it helps me to create that value proposition for my business. So I think, like learning who to target, narrowing that down, niching is important. I think that's been one of the hardest things for me because you come in it like wide eyed. I was a little blessed just because I literally took the job that I did and I've been doing, and I was able to really refine that over the years on doing things that I taking positions within the company that I knew I liked, and I made that a business. But it was hard still because when you get your license and from the brokerage side, when you get your license, it's just like so much is thrown at you and you don't know what you want to do. And like I said, I was like, well, let me try residential, but I realized quickly I love commercial is what I do. So I'm not going to shy away from doing what I love to do just because I'm trying to try something new. I'll try it, but I also listen to my instincts. And that's, that was kind of hard because I'm like, I'm going against my instincts. I'm like, I know what I want, what I should be doing, but I want to try this. And my spirit is like, no, do this because this is what you're getting. You didn't get this education, all this experience, just to be like, oh, let me go try residential real estate.
Right.
I mean, so it was one of the hardest things for me is about balancing with my family. Um, my husband is very supportive and very understanding, but when I tell you it took us a minute to kind of get there, the supporting part, bar none, he will be like, whatever you want to do, I support you. Let me know what you need me to do. But then it's when date night comes, it's like, oh, but I gotta go meet a client. Oh, a client is calling me. Oh, babe, I know we had this plan, but I gotta go make sure that this deal, and this is on the brokerage side, or if on project side, 3 o'clock in the morning. Oh man, the GC, the architects are calling. All these people, the pipes burst, things like that. So it's finding that balance where my building a business, it being in infancy stage, really putting all of my time into that until I'm able to kind of mellow it out where it's kind of on autopilot. um that's hard for me. The other part is finding a team, like really making sure that to find a team. So that's been challenging for me because I've been looking for about a year, like paying attention to people who I want to work with. I'm pretty direct and I know what I like and I know what my clients want. So I'm very particular about who I bring on my team. I hire very slow, and I haven't let anybody go yet. So, but you fire fast, like things that don't work out, and it won't always align. But I think finding alignment and making sure that I have the team. That's been one of my challenges. Marketing, those things, that hasn't been challenging for me. I work really heavily referral wise. So I've been blessed in that aspect. I don't really have to market a lot in terms of like cold calling or anything like that. A lot of people just bring it to me. It's probably because it's not many of us are in the industry, so they kind of bring it to me. But that's been a benefit for us. So yeah, those are some of the challenges.
So I know you mentioned, and I'm gonna tell you, like it's hard. I think a lot of people have this issue with time management. So how have you been able to like overcome that challenge with time management as it relates to you being an entrepreneur?
Systems.
Okay.
Putting systems in place. My friend Sheena, um, was Sheena Gabor. She is like a systems nut. Like any realtor who don't know Sheena needs to know Sheena. Sheena is a systems nut, and I took a lot of my experience from corporate too, because I 15 years in project management. Time is everything for us, and making sure we're on schedule. So I put everything on my schedule. If it is on my calendar, if it is not on my calendar, yeah, I don't know about it. So I schedule everything, and I use one master calendar for my family, for business. I merge it all together so that I can see everything. If I'm overbooking, if I'm missing something, I don't use multiple calendars. I put everything on one calendar. So that's been really helpful. But like I said, having really strong systems and refining your systems, scaling back to the ones that actually work and the ones that don't work. I had a project management system that I had from October. I was trying it out and I never logged in. And I was just like, you know what? This isn't going to work for me. But being honest about that, like, I thought it was a great idea, but this system works for me currently. So just trying different things. So great software, systems, and being honest with yourself. If you know that you're not good with time management, blocking time is good for certain things. Like I have to block time just to do admin stuff. I have to block time to homeschool. I have to block time to make sure that I'm on a meeting. I schedule 15-30 minutes in between drive times if I'm going to showings. If I'm going from project to project, I use the feature of building in time between those so I can really make sure that my time is valuable, because I'm on a traditional schedule as much as possible. I try to do 8 until 5, maybe 6 sometimes. But my daughter was very adamant, but telling me, Mom, I miss you so much. So I made sure that I structured my business around a typical schedule so that my weekends are dedicated to my kids. And then I have a really good village that helps me with time management. My mom is a godsend. She lives with me and she's my nanny and she's my homeschool teacher. She my cook. She a house cook. She everything. So, she's really
That's
helpful.
awesome.
She's really helpful in the entrepreneur's, pursuit. So
Yeah, that's awesome. So somebody wanted to know, is it a digital Google calendar or is it handwritten?
I use Calendly.
Okay.
Mhm.
Oh,
I put everything in Calendly and it allows me to manage my calendar and it integrates with my Google Calendar. And then also, like if I have a project management system that I use, and all of the ticklers migrate to my Google Calendar. So anything that I know, permitting office, follow up on this, that all pushes into my calendar, and then I manage it accordingly. I prioritize. So prioritizing is important.
that is awesome. So I know that with the pandemic, that hurt a lot of businesses.
Mhm.
Did the pandemic affect you in any way?
No. Other than I was sick in the pandemic, so it got me. COVID
I'm
got me.
glad you're well
I
now.
was out for a minute, but I recovered clearly because I had a baby. So
Right, right.
I baked the baby, and no, so but no, it didn't. Actually, that was the beginning. That the pandemic was the pushing point for me to be like, you know what? Let me launch. Let me launch my business. So we launched in 2020. So
Oh,
yeah.
okay, that's what's up.
I
Um,
had a life change. I was like, oh man, I was on my deathbed. I was like, God, if you get me through this COVID, I'm gonna do everything that I said I'm going to do, and I have not looked back.
that's awesome. So how do you create that healthy personal life being an entrepreneur?
I pay attention to my husband.
Okay.
Like he is not very he doesn't express himself verbally a lot, so I pay attention to his body language. And then some moments he'll get like fed up and he'll be like, a child. and he'll say, tantrums. Oh my God. Like, I haven't, I miss my wife. And I don't think it's fair that you're on a call and we're supposed to be on a date. So what I do is I pay attention, and I don't dismiss his feelings because they are important no matter how they come out. I just pay attention. I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna do something really sweet for him. I take him out on dates when I know, like, and I schedule it. Like, I'm like, okay, I don't let anything interrupt it. I don't care what it is. I'm like, listen, I'm gonna have to get back to y'all tomorrow. I got things that I need to do. So it's prioritizing. So I've learned to, even in the development, the very infant stages of this, I learned to prioritize my family because it is important. It's vital. We've been married for almost 5 years. We've been together almost 10. So, I have to be able to make sure that I have healthy boundaries for my business, but I also create those healthy boundaries for my personal life too, because when it's time to do work, I block myself off and I make sure everybody understands, hey, mommy's at work,
Right.
Quadisha's at work, and unless it has to, sick things like that. But I prioritize and I set healthy boundaries and I pay attention to my daughter. Like I said, she was complaining. She's like, Mom, I don't get to see you anymore. So I was like, you know what? Let me revamp, because she is my priority. I have to make sure that she understands that I work and she understands that I'm doing this for myself and for her and for our family. But I also want her to know that she is important and what she's saying to me is valuable. Her expressing to me her concerns is really, it's valuable, and it's my priority to pay attention. So I pay attention and I act.
That's awesome. Yeah, and that's the thing too. We all have to make sure that we pay attention to our family and, make sure we actually block that time out for them to make sure that they understand we still here. We still
Hmm.
love you. Just
Hmm.
gotta do what we gotta do.
It's like a baby, you give it all your attention, because in order for it to develop the way that you envision for it to develop, you have to dedicate you have to feed it, you have to make sure it's safe, you have to protect it, you have to educate it. It's a
Right,
baby, it's like a baby. So once as they get older and you've done the work, it becomes a little bit easier to manage. But the market changes, business needs change, demand, supply, all of those things change. So you have to
right,
either run an audible or you plan properly to make sure you can move with the changes and you can adapt accordingly.
right. So what would be some advice that you would give future entrepreneurs?
I say be true to yourself. Like I said, I was playing tug of war with my instincts. And for me, my mother has always told me, like, my instincts are God talking to me. That is literally like the internal connection of energy that I have with God. So you focus on that and you pay attention to it. Some people call it gut instincts, some people call it, spiritual alignment, whatever you call it, pay attention to it and listen to it, and just be true to that. And if you don't feel like you know what you want to do, try different things. Everything doesn't have to be a business, right? I
True.
I struggle with that too. Like, I have so many talents. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna start this business. I'm gonna start this business.
Right.
No, I had to really focus on what I felt could generate, not necessarily, in addition to significant revenue, but also most fulfilling in terms of what I would want to say, this is my career. And then anything else I had to categorize, well, this is a creative outlet. This
Mhm.
is something that I just like to do. So being able to focus, it took me years to really learn how to do that. I'm one of those people where I have so many different ideas in my head, and then I will try them all. But I've learned that, the business, it takes a lot to start business. If you have 50 million different businesses and you can't really focus on the one, focus on that one business that you really want, and then figure out a way. If it has to be that you want to be a serial entrepreneur, or you want multiple businesses, how can those businesses kind of help the bigger business or
Right.
be an extension of the bigger business? So for me, I love construction. I can't get away from it, but I also love the brokerage side. Well, shit, I merged my business together, and they both complement each other. So I'm able to simultaneously do both of them. I'm fulfilled on both levels, but now I can offer a service to my clients. Otherwise, they would never be able to have that. So if you can figure that out, but stay true to your vision, write it down, and get really detailed about the plan in it. And because your business plan is the blueprint, is if you get lost, if you lose your way, if you're not making the revenue that you plan to make, you can always revisit it and get, reset, and then you can revamp it, you can expand it, you can reduce it. So really focus on getting your thoughts on paper and organizing. And if you're going to start a business, infrastructure is most important to me. I'm that kind of person. I don't just leap and just do and figure it out along the way. I hedge risk very well. I plan, and I am a Virgo, and it's very meticulous for me to know the details. So I plan everything out. I do the research. I line everything up, and I'm very methodical about my steps that I take. But infrastructure, without a strong, solid foundation, your business, you will be doing more work than you absolutely need to, because you're not able to really make the assessment because you didn't lay the foundation. So I say, understand what the license requires, understand the insurance, understand the municipality compliances, understand the state regulations, understand your market and your client, and speak to them and only them. But that takes time. So it requires you to study and do a whole lot of research. Look at other businesses, but just focus on what you want to do. Make sure it's true to what you want to do. And don't be afraid to pivot if it's not. Try something different. If it's not working, try something different. If you are 5 years in, you be like, I don't want to do this no more. Do something else. Just stay true to your intuition.
Yeah. So what are some things that you enjoy doing outside of your business?
I'm really creative. Like I'm like super, I have a whole craft room. I'm super creative, and I love arts. My Like I said, my undergrad is in fashion. I did not lose my love for fashion. It is almost greater than my love for real estate. I love fashion. I love reading magazines. I love fashion shows. I love haute couture. I love making candles. I love making candles. I love luxury scents and really good home fragrances. But I'm creative. I have Cricut machines, and I make T-shirts, and I etch glass. I'm really creative, and I try to. That's like one of my outlets. So yeah, I love perfume. I love to travel a lot. My husband and I travel a lot. Um, and just being with my kids. And I have a whole bunch of nieces and nephews who I love. And so I like to spend time with them, especially like I like them to come over and we just do girl stuff. Like we're going to see the Little Mermaid, all like 14 of us. So like I just, I love that kind of stuff. And I love helping people. Like it is, if I can gift a person, I will. I'll create gift baskets and gift boxes. And I love a real good gift experience.
That's awesome. Speaking of the Little Mermaid, for all of y'all out there, y'all better go see her.
Go
Y'all
see
better go
her.
see her, because that's gonna be my pre-birthday gift to myself.
Hey.
I'm going. Um, so as far as your real estate business, do you think that you've mastered your craft, or do you think that there's room for improvement?
I am a student for life. I always feel like there's a way for me to improve everything. But I do feel like I'm at a level of a certain mastery. But I do feel like I can get much stronger, like in terms of development. I want a mentor. I want a development mentor so that I can really learn, you know, the physical aspect of development, like boots to the ground. I'm on the sites, I'm doing it, but I want to master it to a level like, if I wanted to open up a development company by itself, that's what and add that as an extension to my business where I'm consulting. But like, if I wanted to just do that full time, that's the level that I want to do, and then be able to teach other people to do it. So I want to get on that level of mastery for development. So yeah, I always feel like you can always learn. There's always advancements. There's always, I mean, shoot, look at this AI stuff. There's always advancement in technology. There's always advancement in knowledge. And then just perspective, right? So meeting different people who are smarter than you, being around people who are much smarter than you, who are much more experienced than you, you're bound to learn. And if you're not learning, then I don't really know what to say. But I know for me, I like to learn. And I think evolution is always going to be a part of the journey because that's just what life is.
That is awesome. So how are some ways that you stay motivated? Because I know that's the biggest thing with a lot of us entrepreneurs is having that motivation to keep going.
I focus on my why, and my
Okay.
my babies are my why. Why I get up every day to make sure um, that I can provide a life for them the way that I envision it. And then I talk to them. I talk to Langston a lot. You know, Dries, he talks, but I don't really know what he's saying most of the time. And I asked her, like, what does she want to do in terms of like her right now? So she's really on this lemonade stand. But like,
Oh,
those are the reasons why I get up every single day, is because I have a vision for my family. My husband and I sit down and we talk about our goals for our family, our goals for our marriage, and what we want to do and what we see and how we are going to get there. And then I wake up every single day with a mission to make sure that I can accomplish that. And it's hard because some days I'm tired, some days I'm sick, some days I'm over it. But, I realize, I'm like, you know what? But if I don't get up, I'm not going to get a paycheck. And if I don't get up and do what I need to do, then I won't be able to accomplish my goal. And I'm very goal oriented. So
well, that's good. Yeah. I mean, like, I know with me, sometimes when I don't see like things manifesting the way that I feel like they should, I sometimes get discouraged. But then there's always this one thing that keeps me motivated is, you know, it could just be something so simple as someone reaching out saying, "Hey, I caught your business segment and I like, because I also have entrepreneurs on that actually give out business tips and things like that. So you know they when people give me that feedback and say, hey, you know what, I really took a lot of information from that segment, I'm just like, okay, at least I know I'm doing something right. So it motivates me to keep going. So I think with a lot of us, that's the hardest part, is just staying motivated, staying focused, and to keep going.
it's a lot of noise. It's hard. It's a lot of noise externally, and then unfortunately, it enters you internally. Um, for moments like that where I doubt myself. I mean, let me be very clear. Like, it's moments where I'm like, why did I do this? Am I doing this right? Should I go back to corporate America? Should I go back to your 9 to 5? What am I doing? I didn't get the client that I wanted, or my project is fell through. Like, oh my God, the municipality won't approve the permits. Like, why am I doing this? And then I remember my why. And then it's like, but beyond my why is I'm doing it for myself. Like, I worked really hard to get where I am in terms of like gaining my knowledge and my experience. But I also do it for my nieces who don't have that example
Mm,
immediately in front of them. I do it for other girls. I do it for other males who may feel like, I don't know what to do and I don't feel like I can do this. And I'm like, oh, but you can. It's
right.
hard as hell. Like, let me be very clear about this. It's challenging to try to balance, especially in a world where everything is so instant right now. And if it's not, you know, practicing delayed gratification has been something that I'm I'm glad that we're fortunate to have been experienced to, because we kind of balance the world of pre-internet and then internet. So, but everything now in this popcorn microwave culture is like, if it's
Mm,
not happening right now, I'm not good enough. I'm not succeeding, and that's not the
right.
case. Is if you really understand delayed gratification, you understand that you put the work in now, you set the goals now, and then you do those micro steps that's necessary to get to the goal. It's more sustainable that way, you know.
Right.
And so if you practice, I say delayed gratification, it helps with combating some of those doubt and fear factors. But nonetheless, it's inevitable. It's something that's uncharted territory. If you've never been doing it, it's hard. No one really tells you the real truth about being an entrepreneur, especially now. Now everything is glorified and glamorized. So you got to boots to the ground and get some thick skin and just do the work and work your behind off to make sure that when it's time for you to pivot, if you need to, you can. And when it's time for you to forge forward, go for it.
Right.
So just not doubting yourself, I think that keeps me self motivated. My husband puts these little sayings up in the mirror, and it's like, focus. Rome wasn't built in a day. Take your time. So having any kind of affirmations are helpful. I think one of the most important things that are really undervalued is surrounding yourself around people who is either doing what you're doing it better than you. Like-mindedness is really vital, I think, to success of entrepreneurship. Getting
Mhm.
yourself a mentor who, on those days where you feel like you can't do it, they can kind of help walk you through those things. But praying and asking God to give you strength and guidance, and to be true to yourself and not listening and trying to compete with other people and comparing yourself, I think that's detrimental to your existence when you're comparing yourself, because then you're not really being true to yourself. So
Right.
sometimes it means staying off of social media if you have to, blocking the noise out, not being around those toxic people
Right.
who, you know, paying attention to your friends, revamping your friend circle, revamping your business contacts, and aligning yourself with the people who are going to help you bring your vision to life. And it's not necessarily your vision for your business, it's like your vision for yourself, your vision for your family. It's just your vision of your life journey. So if you can do those things, I think that still won't be super easy, but it'll help you kind of steadfast and stay on your road.
Right. So I know we've talked about it at the beginning of the show, but I wanted you to really reiterate to the people that are just joining in. What are some services that you offer in your business?
So, at Luxable Realty Co., we are a full service project or real estate solutions firm. So, we focus on project management. We also do brokerage services through, that's our affiliation with Norman and Associates on the brokerage aspect. I'm the director of commercial real estate at Norman and Associates. So on that side, acquisitions, dispositions, leasing for commercial properties, that's what I really focus on. But because we are full service, my ideal client is the client who needs help with all of it, right? So they have a business. Hey, I'm launching, I have a hair salon that I want to open. Okay, well, we'll find you a space, but we'll build it out if you need us to build it out, and then we'll help you through finding resources to help you manage it for the life of your lease. Hey, I will have a development project, Quadisha, that I really want to bring to life. Will we help you from a development consulting standpoint? We start with conception and we go through the design, all the way through the design process. I mean, the occupancy, leasing it up or selling it or whatever, or occupying it yourself. And then construction project management. If you have a project if you've gotten your space and you're like, you know what, I need to build my space out, you can contact us for that as well. So we do construction project management for commercial spaces, interior and ground up. And then we also do, like I said, development consulting for commercial properties. And then for investors who are looking to do residential. So if you want to buy a couple of houses and you want to renovate them, we'll do that project management for the construction aspect. And we'll also do the acquisitions of purchasing the properties for you as well. So we have brokerage services that we offer through Norman and Associates. And then we also have like the construction and development project management.
Okay, so we are coming to the close of this interview. I wanted to let everyone know that you will be able to find her website in the description of this video once it uploads. Also, you can let the people know where else they can find you.
You can find me on Instagram. I am Quadisha Todman, or at Quadisha Todman on Instagram. Quadisha, I don't listen. I got to get my Facebook up, but I'm on Facebook too. I don't really be there, but I'm there as well. And then LinkedIn. I'm on LinkedIn. Quadisha Todman on LinkedIn as well. So, yeah, come check us out. Look at our information. If you need any commercial real estate guidance and assistance, and you have that idea and you just don't know where to go, it doesn't mean that you have to be ready. I can help you get ready as well. So, you know, hit us up. Let us know.
And so, what for this closeout, what is some final words or advice or encouraging words that you would like to give to future entrepreneurs?
I say, like I said, just be bold in what you're choosing to do, and don't be afraid to take the risk. And hedge the risk by getting the knowledge and getting as much experience as possible. If you have to volunteer before you start your business to know if that's what you really want to do, just kind of throw yourself into it as much as you can, immerse fully into it, and just listen to your intuition and follow your spirit, and talk to God, and make sure your village is strong.
That is amazing advice. So with all that being said, you guys make sure you check out Miss Quadisha. She is amazing. She's doing amazing things. If you are looking to have commercial real estate, she is the go-to person for you. Um, and on that note, thank you guys for joining us. I appreciate you guys tuning in and interacting with us. And we hope to see you again. We actually have a part two, so y'all will see Miss Quadisha back. So
Thank you so much, guys. I really appreciate your time today, and good luck to all the entrepreneurs. And if you have questions, I'm open to answering questions, and if I can help, I'm happy to do so. So just, look me up and let's stay connected.
That's
Thank you
awesome.
so much, Ashley. I really enjoyed it. I appreciate
No
it.
problem. No problem. You guys, as always, you guys stay sweet. We'll talk to y'all later.
Mwah.